Choices, choices, choices. You know, we have to make a lot of it in today's world. From thinking about what show you want to watch, the music you listen to, even what food to buy, it tends to get overwhelming with all these choices that you spend too much time not making any decision. And the biggest choice we need to make is our life. What's my purpose in life? And I think this question is one of the biggest things that we struggle over. This was where I was in my life. I got to come across this book, and it really guided me in trying to answer that question. I really think this book, Designing Your Work Life, is something that you really enjoy and really help you get enlightenment about where you are right now. The book is written by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans, both involved in the Stanford Design Program and the Stanford Life Program, places that work on leveraging design to improve and live happy lives. Before going any further, I'd like to give that disclaimer that we are in no way trying to promote toxic behavior and allowing those things to happen. If you feel like that you're in this situation, please try to contact a professional, family, or friend to be able to seek proper help. With that, let's go back to the video. Having read this book, I've really taken some notes and I want to share some of my key takeaways from this. And the first one being that passion is not the starting point. Today's world seems that each and every one of us have this passion that we need to find ASAP. That as soon as you graduate college, you're supposed to somehow find this magical tool. And a lot of people call this Ikigai, where people believe that finding their Ikigai is magically gonna make themselves feel complete and whole, and all their problems will be solved. The problem with Ikigai is that we are beings who are never static. We're always in the process of becoming. If we were to do what we love or we're unable to find what we love, our Ikigai, that we should be miserable, that doesn't make sense. Even in my experience, as soon as I graduated, my path wasn't really linear. Graduating from a business course, I started my first job in a multinational bank in human resources. Right after that, I moved to the startup world doing UX research. That isn't exactly linear. And it's not exactly evident what I was passionate about when I started my first job and my second job. It was really looking back and connecting the dots that it started to make sense about what it is that I'm actually interested in and what it is that I'm not interested in. It shouldn't have been an idea of what is my Ikigai from the start. The book says, don't be concerned that you are not yet passionate about your work. Passion may take time to form. To be able to form it, it goes to my next takeaway. Build your way forward. To build on the process of passion building, stay curious and pay attention to what attracts you. A few years back, Mythbusters, a show, did just that. In the show, they follow their curiosity to test out various myths, and they attribute that to be the success of why the show worked so well.
The show worked because the five of us were following our noses, and where we followed them, things got interesting.
Why not think of yourself as a mythbuster or a scientist where the goal is you're trying to figure out what your passion is and what your passion isn't? The only way to do that is by hypothesizing about what it is you enjoy and build your way forward. As Adam Savage says,
Pleasure of that moment of coming up with a theory, a hypothesis, coming up with a methodology to test that hypothesis, the methodology working and demonstrating that the hypothesis was correct. That is an endorphin rush that is accessible to all human beings, and it was a sea change for me.
now wouldn't that be something? Getting one step closer to your passion, one experiment at a time. So keep moving. Don't let yourself get stuck in thought and just build your way forward. Now that you have the motivation to figure out what your passion is one experiment at a time, what should that experiment even be? What should you start out for? And that's where the third takeaway comes in. Set the bar low, clear it, do it again. A dysfunctional belief that people have with their passion is that you either have to be all in or nothing. The reframe should be that good enough for now is better than perfect. See, if we were to stick to our standards of perfection, we would never move forward at all because we're too scared that we'll get this wrong. And even if I were to fail in whatever experiment or project I'm trying to do, at the very least, I'm one step forward knowing what I truly enjoy and don't enjoy. Just like this YouTube channel. It's pretty hard to record, guys. It's pretty hard. I'd rather figure out early on that I'm not meant for something and it's not a fit for me, rather than waiting for that perfect moment to happen and realize I didn't like it at all. So let's do a recap. 1. We shouldn't see our lives as this one make or break type of thing, where if we're not doing what we're passionate about, we should be miserable. Because no one has it all figured out at once. 2. Think of yourself as a mythbuster, a scientist trying to figure out what your passion is and experiment one step at a time. 3. Be comfortable with failure. Perfection isn't going to happen. And eventually, as you keep trying these experiments out, at least you're one step closer towards where you want to be. Hey, it's better to be able to do that rather than bet all your eggs in one basket and eventually not like what you're doing. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely check out this book and be able to see the tips, tricks, stories, and frameworks about how you can design your work life. And hopefully there are more tactics and experiments you'd like to do and try out. So with that, this is this first video and on to your next experiment. Bye!